All right, we are just weeks away from Louisville Football season opener in Nashville against Ole Miss, and today we're starting with the defensive breakdown. So I'm going to do all the position groups, and I'm starting with the defensive end group. Now we kick things off with Clev Lubin, who's arguably the best player on the entire team, regardless of position, at least on defense, and easily a top 2 or 3 player on the team, regardless of position, offense or defense. Anyway, Clev Lubin, he wears number 50. He's a graduate. This will be his last season no matter what. He's listed at 6'3", 260. He began his career at the Army Academy, transferred to Iowa Western, which is a pretty well-renowned junior college, and he won a championship there. And then he transferred to Coastal Carolina and then Louisville last year. So he earned all ACC honors last season with 8.5 sacks and 64 pressures. And I don't know if you guys realize, sacks are neat. It's nice to have a high sack total, and that's what all the eyes are attracted to. But pressures are that's the proof of whether or not you are a good pass rusher, is if you're getting pressure on the quarterback. Sometimes to get sacks, you got to get lucky. Sometimes to get sacks, you got to be in the right place at the right time. And you might get there relying on someone else doing something well, but pressures are on you. They're a consistency stat. If you're getting pressures consistently, you are a good pass rusher. He had 64 of those last year. That's elite. And then, like I said, he's got an elite non-stop motor. He has violent hands. He's got a nasty first step. I mean, he's an offensive tackle's nightmare on trying to protect the quarterback. He's the full package pass rushing. The only concern I have with Clev is that he's small. Now, 6'3", 260. I mean, the 260 could be accurate, but the 6'3" might be generous. I could see him being in a combine setting, maybe 6'1.5". He's got shorter arms as well. But again, he makes up with that with A, having a nonstop motor, and B, he plays Leo, which if you're not familiar with the Louisville scheme, they do run a 4-2 or 4-3. Sorry, they run a 4-3, or it's kind of like a 4-2-5 actually, because they have a hybrid linebacker. But anyway, they run 4 down linemen, but their one defensive end is a traditional defensive end, where the other is more of a hybrid stand-up defensive end, outside linebacker type deal. It's not like a 3-4. They still put their hand in the dirt quite often, but they're more of a tweener, if you will. But due to his smaller size, he does get washed out some in the run game, especially against bigger, more physical, more proven offensive linemen. But my projection for him is he's going to be the star Leo / pass rusher. I mean, there's very little things to complain about. He's going to be one of the best pass rushers in the country, and he's going to be drafted on day 1 or day 2 of the NFL draft. I can't imagine he go day 1 with his measurables unless he just has a ridiculous season. And he gets comparisons to a Louisville great, Elvis Dumervil, who was a smaller guy, even smaller than Clev, but had that same tenacity and the same kind of motor that Clev has. But that's Clev Lubin. All right, up next we have Jerod Smith, the second. He'll wear number 99. He's in his 3rd year, so he's got 3 years of eligibility remaining this year and 2 more. He's 6'4", 270. He's a former top 100 recruit, and he's transferring from the blue Make-A-Wish SEC team about an hour and a half that direction. He played in all 12 games for that Make-A-Wish team last season, and he had 27 total tackles, 5 tackles for loss, a sack, and a forced fumble. And he's a true edge setter. He has a skill set that nobody else in the room that you'll see today has, and that he's an edge setter. He's a big, physical guy who is great at standing his ground, getting nasty at the point of attack, getting extension, eating blocks, and being ready to stop the run. There's nobody else in the room that can do what Jerod can do against the run. He's a true edge setter. He's very stout. And I actually believe he's going to not only start at defensive end, but he will play plenty at the 3-tech when they move into different packages, because he's got that nasty of a skill set, or that pivotal of a skill set of being a run stopper. I think he's clearly the option right now next to Clev. I think he complements the defensive line the best of the group. So that's my projection, is that he will be the opposite defensive end starting of Clev Lubin. All right, next we have A.J. Green. Some of you may know him as Adonijah Green. I learned that name way back when he was a recruit. I felt like saying it, but he does go by A.J. now, just like a former Georgia and Bengals great wide receiver, A.J. Green. He wears number 17. He's going into his 4th season, so he'll have 1 more year after this. He is listed at 6'6", 250 pounds. You may see him referred to as Sticks. That's his nickname because of his build. He's played 30 career games at Louisville, rotating in as defensive end and at Leo. In 2025, he had 31 total tackles in 13 games, and he had 6 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. I didn't see any pressure numbers, unfortunately, to get a grasp on that. He did recover a fumble for a touchdown against JMU. I believe either Clev or Bailey knocked that loose, and he got the touchdown because he got the fumble recovery. And then he also forced a fumble and had a tackle for loss in the win against Pittsburgh. His height and his length are elite. He's all of 6'6", could be 6'6 and a half. And his wingspan, God, I can't imagine what his wingspan is, man. He's long. Pause. He's long. He's got the full package athletically, but he's just yet to put it all together. And my projection is that he's going to continue to be that rotational piece in the room as a defensive end / Leo, and continue to develop. And hopefully, by next season, he'll be ready and primed for a starting role full time. All right, next we're going to highlight Tyler Thompson, who wore number 3 this year. He's going into his 4th year, which means he'll have 1 more year after this. He's listed at 6'5", 245. He's a former 4-star who played both linebacker, I believe outside linebacker, as well as defensive end at UNC. He had a breakout season last year where he finished 8th in the ACC with 7 sacks and 7.5 tackles for loss. Also 25 total tackles. He's a bit of a hybrid, like I was saying. He's kind of an outside linebacker, kind of an edge. He'll play Leo here for sure, but he's just a pass rush specialist. That's what he gets to the quarterback. He puts pressure on the quarterback. And the staff would, be doing him a disservice if they didn't do everything they could to line him up all over the field, disguise him as a linebacker down in a zone, play him as a wide 9, playing him, as a 4-eye. You can line Tyler up anywhere, and he's going to affect the quarterback's psyche because he's that good of a pass rush specialist. He's fast. He's got crazy bend. He's got good arm length. He's strong for how smaller. He's a little wiry, but he is strong at the point of attack. But he's not going to win with crazy pass rush moves or swim moves. He's fast. And he's got a really good bend, like I said. And I think his role this year is going to be a rotational player at Leo, as well as just being a specialist, rushing the quarterback in pass settings. And then lastly, to round out the room, I got 3 names here of guys who could be in the mix for some playing time. You got Micah Carter, number 99, a dude from the state of Kentucky. He's been here for 4 years, 6'6", 265, entered the portal, ended up coming back. He got a little bit of playing time last year, and even though we added some guys to the room, he could be the next guy up outside of the 4 names mentioned earlier. Eric Hazzard, redshirted last year. He was a 3-star prospect out of Tennessee. He wore number 40, 6'3", 255. Like I said, he's going into his 2nd year. He made an impact in his 4 games that he played last year, especially on special teams. So he's someone to keep an eye on. And then Maurice Davis also entered the portal and returned. He wears number 97. He's 6'4", 250. He's more of a pass rush guy. Those are the 3 names that could be in the mix for playing time outside of the primary 4 that mentioned earlier. And my position grade for the defensive ends is an A. Clev Lubin carries this unit a lot, but I'm very high on Jerod Smith. I'm high on the pass rush ability of Tyler Thompson, and I'm bullish on the potential of AJ Green. But AJ Green's going into his senior year, or his 4th year, so it's almost now or never for him. But I'm giving the room an A. As long as Clev stays healthy, as long as Jerod continues to play the way he did in the SEC down the stretch for Make-A-Wish SEC team in blue, I think that this position group is going to be one of the better position groups on the defense, and I'm giving them an A. As always, these videos are made in partnership with the 1912 Society. Thank you for following me or subscribing or liking or whatever, viewing, whether you're on TikTok or YouTube. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.